And welcome back, everybody. Owl Central Games Pioneer RCQ. Cameron here with Ryan Potter for round 5.
Oh, and we're here with Albert Liao, the elf himself. I ride with him everywhere, and he only plays elves. And he is playing elves in this format when it's probably a little sketchy to do so, but it's playable, I think. And I think we're gonna start off on a Llanowar Waste, gonna take 1 point, and we're gonna play a Llanowar Elf. Card that Albert loves very much.
And Albert is playing against a pretty cool list here right now. Like Potter said, Albert's on elves, but
I believe this is a 5-color fires deck.
yes, Alex is on 5-color midrange, and he has a companion. What companion does he have?
What companion does he have? Oh, Karuga, the hippo. Oh my lord.
Yep. So this list benefiting from new leyline binding, just trying to hit 5 different colors of mana and play your value oriented interaction spells.
This deck is very interesting. I was expecting like an enigmatic deck, but this is very interesting. So we got some Cavalier Flames, we got some Colossal Sky Turtles, we got Bone Crusher Giants, Kenriths, Omnats. It's a very different list that I've not really seen this in the past.
Yeah, I believe that Alex got this from a challenge. I think this is like top 16.
Okay.
Just like one-off challenge. You know, he was like, this deck list is sick. I gotta play it. He played it last night at F&M, and he was like, you know what? I could play mono green tomorrow, but I want to play this fires deck. So that's what he showed up with today.
Yeah, and we have Karuga pulled up here, and the rules of Karuga is you have to play cards in your deck that cost 3 or more. But when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card for each permanent that costs 3 or greater. So I haven't really seen this companion at all compared to the other ones, and that might be because most of the other ones are starting to get banned. So maybe we'll see some more cool companions like Karuga. We saw Lutri earlier. So
yep. And I mean, every time the companions come up, the mechanic itself is so inherently powerful that even something like Karuga, that I think a lot of the times you just like read the text on Karuga and you're like, oh, my deck has to be unplayable for me to play this card.
Yeah.
But like you just get like 1 or 2 cards that like skip it a little bit in the way that like Bone Crusher Giant or Leyline Binding kind of skip the rule in that they cost less than 3 mana most of the time that you play them, but they still fit the deck building requirement. And then once you fit the deck building requirement, getting a 5 mana 5/4 that can draw 2 or more cards,
it's very powerful.
Yeah.
And Sky Turtle also fitting the bill here of early interaction that fits the rules that has to be 3 or greater. So outside of that, we have basically 10 spells that you can cast before turn 3, which is pretty good, I think.
Yeah. And I think another thing that just like the deck list accepts is that a very large subset of the metagame is just trying to attack you with creatures and win the game by attacking with creatures.
Yep.
And so we're just going to have some decent creature answers and sweepers and play from there.
Alex is going to need a sweeper soon because Albert is making a board with a lot of elves, a lot of lords. So Alex has 2 copies of Verdict and 1 copy of Anger the Gods. Probably does not have the Anger, but I'm not sure what that land was tapped. It might have been a Triome. So maybe the Anger of the Gods is lurking, but did not have the mana to cast it.
True. And then any untapped land next turn and a fires means that we could just cast any of the spells.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But yeah,
6,
Albert's
7,
deck
8.
is definitely doing its thing.
Yep, we got 8 elves here. That is an 8 ball to the dome. Gonna put Alex down to 9. Unless we might have a stomp here, which looks like, I think that's what the pause is for. Maybe a Sky Turtle bounce. Or Leyline Binding. We're going to take care of the Elf Lord. Makes sense.
Okay, so we just wanted that to answer an Elf Lord anyway, take the most power off the table, and gain 1 little point of life.
Yep. And so we're going to go down to 10 here. I assume we'll have some amount of attacks here.
Yes, at least the War Master and token would not have summoning sickness.
Yeah, maybe the Sentinel as well. Got a little bit of a pause here. Albert thinking about Sentineling.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
So not attacking, but casting more spells.
Putting another 1/1 into play.
Okay.
It's going to crash in here for 3. Alex will fall to 7. And Alex needs a sweeper right now.
Yep.
And that does not, the body language does not tell me that Alex has a sweeper. And
No.
if you're doing math, yeah, this is probably it.
Yep. But it also, like, looking at the deck list, it does not necessarily look like the most functional deck, but we're so close to being in this game.
Yep.
Like
We're
drawing.
very close.
Yes. Like whether he might be missing the 4th land, he might be missing the fires and not actually have the mana for the verdict or something like that. But like any of these things line up better, and he just is very set up to run away with the game.
I think this is Alex's natural predator here, which is low base aggro.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, you're putting cards that cost 3 or more in your deck. You're going to be bad against decks that don't do that. Albert is basically the opposite. Only really has Collected Company and a few 3-mana cards.
Yeah.
So Albert's rather will take game 1.
Nice fast start. I believe he was even on the play.
Yep.
Yep. Just
makes a lot of sense. So we'll go over Alex's sideboard here. We got 4 Leyline of the Void, 3 Knight of Autumn, 3 Skylasher, 2 Mystical Dispute, 1 Anger of the Gods, 1 Supreme Verdict, and 1 Karuga, which is his companion. So what do you like here?
Well, last night he did not reveal the Karuga in games 2 and 3 against me because he had Skylasher in his deck.
Okay.
So I think also we're talking about like how this deck does not do well against the aggressive decks in the metagame. If Skylasher's good, you know, maybe you are kind of favored post-war games. I'm not sure. I don't want to speak too positively on that, but it does mean that you don't get your companion. But Skylasher's not that good against this aggro deck.
You might still want it though, because I don't really see Karuga being necessary, because you do have these late game cards in Omnath and Kenrith that are in Cavalier that are going to get the job done if you make it there. So you might just want just a 2/2 just to trade.
Okay, Skylasher up on the screen right now. I just want everyone to it took me like 2 or 3 years of knowing this card. The creature is actually on the tree.
Yeah, it's not the bird.
No, it's killing the bird.
Yeah.
It's getting them.
It's lashing it.
Yeah.
From the sky.
So you think maybe on the Skylashers?
I think it's certainly a possibility. Okay. It's obvious. Look at this card. It's like Pro Blue, like Albert's a Golgari Elves deck. I don't want that card, but just having a Grizzly Bear might be better than some of these other cards.
And it'll be really obvious whether they're in the deck or not.
Yep. Because it will be.
Yep. If the companion's there, they're not. If the companion is not there, then they are. And then other than that, we just want more sweepers.
Yeah.
For creatures.
I definitely think Alex has the most to gain from sideboarding for sure. So what Albert has is 4 Ley Lines, 3 Fatal Push, 3 Terra Sunder, 2 Epic Downfall, 2 Shaper Sanctuary, and 1 Realm Walker. So not a whole lot here. If he knows what he's playing against, might lean towards like Epic Downfall, Terra Sunder type cards. But outside of that, I'm not really seeing a whole lot. So.
Whoa. I don't know what this card does. What is this?
Oh, yeah. I made that put him in the deck.
No.
Yeah. So
okay.
Skemfar Avenger, two of them in his deck. It's a 3/1 for 1 and a black. And whenever a non-token elf or berserker you control dies, draw a card and lose a life.
What is this?
Yeah.
That's a good card.
Yeah, it's a good card.
Nobody's playing that card.
Yeah. I told him to put it in his deck. I was like,
what?
There was obviously when you're playing Elves deck, you're bad against Rakdos midrange, things with Bone Crusher Giant.
Yep.
Things that just have, cheap removal spells. So he wanted, what was it? Thorn Lieutenant was the card he was thinking of.
Okay.
And I was like, there's a better card.
Okay.
And this one also has 3 power.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
2 of today in Albert's main deck.
wouldn't want it anywhere in my deck if I thought I was going to play against a Chain Whirler.
Yep.
But that's
Oh, yeah.
not what I would expect today.
Yeah,
So
I would not expect a Chain Whirler today for sure.
Nope.
Looks like Alex is taking a mulligan, and I believe that Karuga is revealed, so Skylasher is staying home.
Yep.
I do think Alex had enough cards in his deck that he was happy with, that he didn't want the Skylashers. It looked like he had enough stuff.
Yeah. Even outside of sweepers, especially on the play, just putting, if you get to stomp on 2, put a Bone Crusher and play on 3, put Nomnath and play on 4, and just like be on the battlefield with Elves.
That's exactly where Alex would like to be here. But on 6 cards, not really where he wants to be. He does decide to keep, puts 1 to the bottom. We are underway. Fabled Passage. Albert will play an elf.
I love how Albert draws this card.
Yeah.
It's the same
every time.
It is.
He's a robot.
Yeah. But it's so graceful, like
he's happy to be here. Yeah.
And
we got Skemfar Avenger up on the screen there. That is best card in his deck because I told him to put it there. Absolutely. If he wins because of Skemfar Avenger, this is basically I should go to the next regional championship. I think
you're right. Albert needs to contact DreamHack and say, excuse me, I am not responsible for my win. It was Ryan Potter.
Yeah.
Make sure that
I made him put a 2 in his deck. That was me.
So question, while all these first couple turns are playing out here, John gave me an over under last round.
Oh,
okay. So the number 3.5. The question, how many mono green decks will be in top 8? Over or under 3.5?
See, this is bad because I already know 2 of them are locked. So based on that, I mean, going the over feels safe. I think if you asked me at the beginning of the day, I would say under. But
I even said under last round.
Yeah.
But I also, I mean, I don't think I mentioned this, but like it wouldn't be that surprising. John said it looks like there's a problem if we have 4 mono green decks in top 8. It wouldn't surprise me that much. I mean, like it was just the deck that showed up today. Like, I saw a black-white aristocrats deck in the room. I saw just like some other random brews. They're not going to compete when the most played deck in the room is mono green devotion. Yeah,
it's very much of back in the day when people want Twin unbanned, and for this might not be true now because obviously Modern has changed a lot. But Twin put a check on the format that made a lot of decks not playable. And I think since then, Modern has become a format, at least before Modern Horizons, where there were 10 or 20 decks that could win any given tournament. And I think Mono Green puts that check on Pioneer. There are very few decks that can win a tournament just because Mono Green exists.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I'm willing to shush it at the door.
Yeah. LOL, in the interest of competitive diversity.
Yeah.
That phrase gets laughed at a lot, right? But like I think you painted it very well there, that like there are just times that if you don't have a deck in the metagame, there are going to be so many more options.
Yep. Not to say that mono green is attackable, because it very well is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we got a Fable here. I believe I spotted a Shaper Sanctuary in Albert's hand. So obviously Albert doesn't know what he's playing against. Assumes his opponent's going to be very disruptive heavy, even with the Karuga. So he sides in the Sanctuary. I think if Albert knew the full 75 of Alex, he probably wouldn't bring them in, because I think Alex is mostly leaning on sweepers than point and shoot removal spells.
Yeah. And Alex's mana does not look great this game.
No.
However, he does get to cast a sweeper next turn.
He does.
No matter what any sweeper he's got.
And I imagine he probably has one hanging out.
One mulligan, and I imagine. And even if we don't, we have this chapter 2 on our Fable.
We got a lot of draws.
But Albert being on the draw, we probably still need to sweep as soon as we can, so that Albert does not get to continue to amass even more of a board. But Albert's also still got like 5 cards in his hand. So if we sweep and then just like pass back, I think we will probably need to sweep again at some point this game.
Yeah, I agree. Albert does have 2 kind of good cards in his hand. Chamber Sanctuary might come up, but as of right now in the permutations of this game, it's not going to really be triggered for another few turns. But he has another copy of Nykthos, which probably will also not come up. So we are making, looks like 3 green. Nope.
Walking it back.
Yep. Albert's the right blend of methodical and fast. He thinks out his plays, but doesn't take too long.
And once the decision is made, actions are being taken.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
So yep, we got 3 green. Play another Nykthos maybe. Okay. Gonna probably go to 4 green, I would imagine.
Yeah. And then we just have these 2 clan callers in our hand.
Okay.
We're
Oh, I see. Okay. Because we have.
Oh, okay. Yep. So now we've added more devotion and still have this elf to tap and the mana floating.
So Albert might have determined this game that he might not be well suited versus a sweeper, or he's just kind of not expecting it, which is also reasonable. He's gripping a collected company.
Could just be the backup plan after the sweeper.
Yeah, I think he's thinking about casting her now.
Yeah. Okay.
So if he finds a bunch of lords, might be shielded against Anger the Gods.
True.
But
and we already have 1 in play. How many do we need? Because the clan caller is only a 1/1.
Yeah. So actually, no way. Yeah, that doesn't even work. But Shaman will do pretty well here.
Yep. Just gives you a payoff for your board, even if you get swept, and then you just kind of need to build a board again, and then have 1 good combat or 1 Shaman trigger.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think we're looking at a Steel Loop champion as well, which will survive an Anger of the Gods if that's the sweeper of choice.
One thing that I really want to see for this Elves deck, I think that like Steel Leaf Champion is currently one of the like best choices that they have options for, but it's not necessarily what the Elves deck does in the abstract.
Yep.
Right?
I agree.
Yeah.
It's not really like a synergy card. It's just an elf that happens to be a 5/4.
Yep.
And that is usually good in the context of Pioneer for 3 mana.
Yeah. But I also think like the deck could be better if it was something like if we just had Elvish Archdruid or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's mostly because the cards aren't there.
Right. Exactly. And then, like you said, like just a 5/4 that can't be blocked by creatures power 2 or less will get there in a lot of your Pioneer games.
It was definitely a standard staple back in its day. Judging by Alex's body language, I don't think he has it yet. He seems kind of a little bit frustrated, which is understandable because he's staring down a lot of power.
Yep, staring down a lot of power and has 4 colors in play.
Maybe I'm wrong.
With 2 basics in his 5-color deck.
Might be wrong there because Alex only decided to discard 1 card there.
Okay.
And we're going to see attack from the Goblin Shaman, and we're going to get a treasure token.
So it's probably leaving play pretty quickly, both the Shaman and the treasure token.
Yeah, and Albert's board likely if we're attacking.
Yep.
It's a good block. And there everything goes.
Supreme verdict.
Now we got to deal 5 more points. It'll be 5 tough points to deal, but
yeah,
it's only 5.
Right, but I mean, Alex has missed land drops, so like something like an Omnath plus a land is multiple turns off.
Yep.
Yeah. But things like that are what really close the game for Alex here.
Yeah. I mean, even right now, the 2/2 is going to check the Jaspara Sentinel. I want to say Albert's last card in hand was Steel Leaf Champion. He's quite a ways away from that. Okay. Have a tap land.
Not our 5th color found.
And 4 life here will be pretty good. Or the Sanctuary. Okay. We're going to play Knight of Autumn and destroy this Shaper Sanctuary.
Uh-huh. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Especially if like we're looking at a Bone Crusher or something and just.
Yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
depends on the context of his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And if he has a lot of Bone Crusher Giant type of things, that makes sense.
Right.
Albert took a thought there to maybe Beseju the Kiki Jiki. Decides to play the Beseju as a land because he is trapped with the Steel Leaf Champion in hand.
It would also
fires.
give Alex his 5th color and 5th land.
Yep.
So I really don't like Besejuing.
I agree. Fires into another Fable the Mirror Breaker. Could be worse for Albert, but definitely not looking good. Ooh, that was another Steel Leaf Champion.
Did you get to look at the standings last round, Potter? Do we know if this is a win-in?
I do not know off the
Okay.
top of my head.
Okay. Just wanted to check.
Yeah.
These players could be playing for the chance to draw in the next round and lock themselves up.
I think it's very possible. I think we have
Mhm.
47 players today, and usually that's low enough where if you are X1 going into the last round that you can draw in.
Yep.
But I can't say for certain.
Right.
Garuga to hand.
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, and cast it off the fires.
Yep. We're drawing
Okay.
so many cards.
Okay. All
5
right.
cards.
We're
right?
doing the fun
1,
thing.
2, 3, 4. One more. It sees itself, right?
Yep. Albert, good guy Albert pointed out.
Or
Garuga's back.
doesn't it? Draw a card for
Each
each
other.
other. Okay, so it does not check itself.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Man,
And you know what you get to do? You get to copy it with Kikijiki.
they print like this card doesn't even see itself.
Yeah.
They printed Luris next to this
Yeah,
card.
yeah.
Okay, this card could see itself. Come
Yeah.
on, you have nothing in play, and you play your companion and you draw 1 card. Like, come on.
I think I would prefer that this card doesn't see itself and everything else is just worse than having everything being, super
That's
powered up.
fair. That's fair.
I do not like creatures drawing the card when they enter the battlefield, no matter what. Indiscriminately.
Not an Elvish Visionary fan.
I mean, that's fine because that's a 1/1, This
Okay.
is a 5/4. This is also killing your opponent.
Yeah.
I'm at this kind of the same way. I'm not that. Don't even get me into that. We'll probably see it at some point in this match. So we're seeing a big attack here from Alex. Albert giving him a treasure.
What do you think that's did Kiki activate on something?
I believe so.
Yeah. Probably just the
That was the
token.
Knight of Autumn because he went up to 9.
Got it.
Yep.
Perfect. Nice.
That makes sense.
Yep.
I think that's how you lose this game. I think Alex correctly identified that.
Yep. And that also like could have been lining that up with the when we killed the Shaper Sanctuary. You're
Yep.
just gonna gain the life later.
See, the Steel Leaf Champion, I think, is going to be a day late, dollar short here because Alex, at the very least, is going to have 4 life on demand with this Knight of Autumn and Kiki Jigi. So yeah, the world is his oyster right now.
Mm-hmm. How many is that? Full grip, 7 cards, maybe more.
Yeah, something like that. I only can cast 2 spells, but
Right.
probably okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the fun part of Sky Turtle too in this deck building is it is not a spell when you channel it, which he is doing right now.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Channeling the lands too.
Yep.
From that set. Yep.
So we see a Kenrith come back. I think Alex is just doing math to see if he can kill him,
Ooh.
which is very possible with the Kenrith now.
Yep. Second spell. Haste.
Yep. It's going to activate the haste ability. And what do we got?
Now we can even make 2 night copies, right?
Yep.
Yep.
I think the Kiki, the one just flip. It doesn't matter. Albert sees the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
So we'll see a game 3 here. Pretty convincing win from Alex. Just had a sweeper, got to do his thing.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Like I had predicted that maybe we'll need the next sweeper, but Albert just like didn't have the gas in the tank,
Yep.
and Alex was just competitive on the board. So even if he did, he probably was still good.
I think
okay.
Albert correctly identified that the turn that he cast the Collected Company, he just didn't have the mana to cast it later down the road. So it was rather sweeper or bust. So he might as well get some amount of damage with Shaman of the Pack if he saw it off Collected Company.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
just kind of hope the sweeper wasn't lurking around.
Mhm.
Unfortunately for him, it was. So we'll see a game 3 here now.
Yep. For game 3, I am liking Albert on the play with his aggressive strategy.
I as well like aggressive strategies and being on the play. And I'm sure Albert does too.
Mm-hmm.
When I met Albert, he was more of a mid-range guy.
Okay.
He's still kind of, sometimes he is, but
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely more willing to pick up an aggro deck. He won't pick up a mono red aggro deck though. I've tried for many years, and he's like, I can't play burn. I can't play, Monastery Swift Spear.
What?
I know. It's like, you're riding in the car with me. You at least got to pick this up once.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But,
steal it from my bag.
Yeah.
Make me play something else for a day.
Yeah. Here you go.
I think we saw Albert kind of revisit the board there. I'm not sure whether like we said, we were a little surprised maybe at the strategy that Alex had going on.
Yep.
And so maybe Albert's like, oh, now I know that I got to be able to kill this fire as an invention, something like that.
The Sanctuaries might have came out as well, because even that game, he didn't see cards like Bone Crusher Giant. He only saw Leyline Binding.
Yep.
So maybe he's like, well, I'm only going to draw 2 cards, maybe max, off the Shaper Sanctuary, which is not good enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I believe just being on the play, you just don't really are less interested in that type of card. You just kind of want to do your thing.
Makes sense. I know that as I'm playing aggressive strategies, that's a card that I really want in my sideboard to bring in against the black-red decks, but
I hate that card. It's one of those cards when I'm playing it,
Yeah.
like it's rather like a 10 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10. Like you rather
Yeah.
play it on turn 1, it's great, or you draw it on turn 5 and it does nothing. And I really hate when sideboard cards are like that. And it's like in the same matchup, it's supposed to be great or terrible. I just not a fan of Shaper's Sanctuary.
Yeah.
So
I just don't have options.
yeah, there's
Potter.
That's the problem. There's no options.
Potter,
Yeah.
Did you see the mono white? Mono white's a little bit of a misnomer, but it was successful in a Japanese event.
Okay.
White weenies, like 10 to 12 red sources,
Ooh.
sideboard, experimental frenzy.
Yeah.
And then you just play that against your red black.
Yep.
Yep.
I thought you were gonna say like heroic reinforcements or something. I was like, ooh.
I think that one sounds fun, but I think
Worse.
we'll win less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wins less games. That's fair. So Albert will be on 6 here. Oh yeah. I told him to put the Secluded Courtyard in his deck. Yep, it's gonna come up. It's gonna come up. This is me as well. If he wins this game, I won this.
There's no other land that ever could have cast that Elvish Mystic.
Absolutely.
You gotta say elf.
Yep. It's like the stock lists are playing 3 Nykthos. Like, what the heck? Like I want to have Steel Leaf Champion in your deck too. Like I just want to cast my spells. Circle of Dreams Druid. This lives.
Yeah, that's a lot of mana.
So Alex is going to need a turtle, a Leyline Binding, or a Stomp.
I like turtle. Like we talked about how it's a cheap interaction card, and then it also has the like other regrowth mode.
Yep.
I'm not sure I think Brazen Barter is the other option in that spot. And I think there are a lot of games, like especially against like Spirits or something, like where Borrower is just going to be a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting. I guess the question is the regrowth part. And if you're a little bit concerned about closing the doors in some matchups, it is, reasonable to cast in this deck. I won't say reasonable, but you have the ability to, and it is very large.
Yeah.
So we'll see. The Leyline might need to take care of the Circle of Dreams Druid. So Albert's not going to go crazy here, but 5/4 will do just fine right now. In that Steel Leaf Champion. So we see a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Token will not be able to block the Steel Leaf if they wanted to.
And I think at the beginning of the game, we saw Albert mulligan one time and Alex deliberate for a while and then keep his 7.
Yep.
So I think this is, one subset of games. We both said that we like being on the Elves side here, but one mulligan, keep a 7, play a sweeper on time.
Yep.
That's how Alex is in this one.
I think if he just showed me this board, I would like Alex's spot.
Agreed. Yeah.
It will really depend on his hand and what Albert wants to do here. He's got to really think about these sweepers. How much does he want to commit? Can he even beat a sweeper? A lot of questions.
Yeah. Especially knowing that this is Albert's 4th turn.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Steel Leaf will come across for 5. I think he has to commit some amount of stuff. Elvish Mystic, and that'll be it. Okay. This kind of tells me that I'm probably something like a company or two mana things are hanging out and doesn't want to commit any of those powerful cards to the sweeper, possibly. But still wants that 4th mana just in case Alex lets him have it.
Yeah, yeah. And at this point, that Steel Leaf Champion is pretty hard to remove with the answers other than sweeper that Alex has shown. Leyline Binding's already in play, but like Stomp doesn't do it. And so I like just trying to ride this to victory and keep the rest of the gas for later.
Yep. I think he's deliberating over the discard possibly on the Fable. These are the crucial turns in this matchup. Around turn 3 to 5 is, I think, where most things are going to be decided here.
Yeah. Earlier, we talked about the red-black deck a little bit and how some players were bringing up that maybe Wizards would have banned Fable of the Mirror Breaker in Pioneer. I'm so happy that did not happen.
Yeah, I had this talk with John, and I'm like, I'm not even sure if it's like the 5th best card in the deck. I'm pretty low on that card in general. I think obviously it's powerful, but like compared to like what's going on in the format, I think the only reason why you're playing Fable the Mirror Breaker is because it's powerful and not because it matches up well with what the rest of the format is. Because it is a very slow value card, and this format is a lot about speed.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You are definitely swimming upstream.
Yeah, I like to swim. I like to splash around. All right, we're gonna see a Stomp on an Elvish Mystic. I kind of like this play. Keep Albert off of 4 mana. Now he's gonna float 1. No, what's he doing? He's always up to something. Bone Crusher is going to be a good blocker for the Steel Leaf as of right now. Oh,
all right.
What do we have? Oh, Terra Sunder. Okay.
For that circle.
That is going to unlock his hand.
Yep.
All right. So we'll have at least 6 mana as of right now. And a Nykthos was the draw step, I think. Yep. I don't think his hand is that amazing. I think the one card in his hand is, so they got Elvish War Master and the 3/1 we just talked about.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's a Leaf Crown Visionary.
Is it? Okay.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Either way, it's 2 mana spells. I think that's what yep, you're right. That's what he was trying to set up before. Now he's trying to figure out if he can draw a card and how he can draw a card off of Leaf Crown Dread or Visionary, rather. So what can he do here? He can play the Dryad. Okay.
I know when this card got added in Dominaria, a lot of people were really excited about the Elves deck, even like saying it might compete with red black, like it's got this powerful mana engine, and it just kind of seems like that it hasn't.
I think it doesn't line up well with the texture of the format, but it's an extra powerful card that they were missing. So I think it's going to be a missing piece of the puzzle in the grand scheme, but it doesn't push it over the top right now.
Got it.
See, what did he draw? Albert is thinking. Drew something. We're gonna make some mana.
Activate.
Oh, Shaman of the Pack might have been his best draw here. Yep, we're gonna take a bunch of damage. Take 7.
Are we? Was that spellcast? Okay. Because. Oh, okay. We use the mana floating tap. We did not activate the Nykthos. So I got it.
Yep.
Albert's a genius.
yeah, he is. See if we got a sweeper hanging out.
Yep.
At least this time, Albert has decent mana, I would say.
Can play pretty much any card off the top except for Collecting Company.
But at the same time, I would not like a spot.
Yep.
At all.
Yeah. I feel like the sweeper would be on the table by now.
I think so too. Might be a mana issue, maybe a shock or something like that. Is that a pass? Nope. I'd be surprised if there's a sweeper hanging out now, based on the body language of Alex.
Yep.
What's his lands? We got a stomping ground, we got some sort of triome, we got a plains, and I think maybe an island.
And I believe that the triomes are rock and triome. So we can cast Anger and Supreme Verdict.
Okay. Alex is doing math. Say he kills the Steel Leaf Champion. What does that look like? Looks like very dead to me because of the Lord. So we'll probably have to kill the Steel Leaf and the Lord. That will also kill us because we'll have 2 1-mana one power elves and then a 2 power elf that'll come across with the 2 blocks. So even 2 removal spells does not get him out of this, I do believe.
I think that's exactly what Alex is figuring out now.
Yeah.
He's yep.
He needs basically double leyline binding plus like a stomp or something.
Yeah.
I think that'll keep him alive.
And I don't even know if he has the swamp so that the leyline binding is actually.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. Trying to see what cards are in his hand. I think I saw an Ottawa hanging out.
Okay. Something that could like bounce a Lord.
So that does cost 1 less because of the Kiki Jiki.
True.
How great would it be is like he does all this cigar Supreme Verdict.
I don't know. I think it'd be a clip.
Yeah.
That'd be the.
I've done that not on a future match, but I've done that to my friends before. Just go in a big tank, have like the worst slow roll of my life. Just bolt them in the face.
Ugh.
But I'm a pretty bad person, so that's why.
All right,
why I
so
did that.
here's my question. Which one of these is a more Potter thing?
Okay.
Slow rolling your friend while you're playing casual games and you bolt them in your face, or you pulling anything within arm's reach to use as a token? Which one of these two things is more Ryan Potter?
Probably the pulling a token thing, because I'm never prepared.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't bring a play mat.
Yeah.
I barely remember dice half the time.
Okay.
Same with the life pad.
And you're not always mean to your friends.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
You know. Usually. All right, that's
we're making mana. Yep.
Right. He drew something. That's another Steel Leaf champion.
Okay, so we are in his main phase.
Yep.
Confirmed, no sweeper.
So it's interesting that he tapped the 2/1. I don't think I like that, actually. I just want it as an attacker, just in case something weird happens. I think I would just would have made mana from Nykthos, maybe. Shuts you off from Shaman of the Pack, though. That's probably what he's thinking. I'm not sure what I would have done there.
Combat.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I probably just would have gone to combat and attacked. All right,
we found another spell to cast. Oh no, we're activating our Elvish War Master.
Oh, okay.
What's that?
Yeah, he's smart.
7 mana for 2/2 trample.
Yeah, 2+2/2 and trample. Once again, Albert has proved me wrong.
Not trample, death touch.
Death touch. Yes. Yeah, I believe this is lethal damage.
Ooh.
Oh, we're gonna try. We have a sky turtle hanging out.
Don't target Shaman of the Pack.
Yeah, that would be bad. Yep.
There we go. And Albert takes it. No sweeper from Alex. Like we said, that was kind of what he needed. And
top guard. It's Layla Mining. It's Omnath. Nope, no sweeper anywhere near.